Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners across the pond in London, England, as well as Latin America. And of course, I want to say the Big C tribe. Hello to the Big C tribe in Africa. Thanks for following Big C Sports. Big C, you know we love the good old boys up in Canada. But there's no one we love more than you good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for all you good old boys down south?
Well, Charlton, it's a wet, balmy day down here in the south. I mean, we woke up with some humidity this morning. We got some rain tonight.
Yeah.
And I don't know if those are tears from the White House or Russia when they fall.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they say tears of a clown, and there's so much stuff that's going on with the Trump administration. And now, you know, there's some good old boys that know how to put you in a corner. The same way you catch a snake, you make it think it can get away, but it keeps going down a narrower pipe. Now they're saying, if you want to save your kids, you got to come clean. Big C, would POTUS turn his back on his own children just to keep the good old boy in Russia happy? Big C, your thoughts?
You know he would, Charlton, in a heartbeat. He's turning his back on everybody. Matter of fact, you know, his attorney didn't realize what he had done the other day when he said he had sculptured a tweet that was going out saying that Trump Flynn had lied.
Yeah.
At that point, he didn't realize. I mean, this is an attorney. You'd think he'd be a little more intelligent than that, but I guess, you know, he's representing Donald. He automatically made himself a witness.
Yeah.
He can no longer defend him. He can be called to testify.
Yeah.
You know, he no longer has immunity against testifying because he said he was doing the tweeting. He was sculpturing the tweeting.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's an iconic situation, Charlton. But even more amazing today, and I know we're a sports show, but we're also a political show.
Oh, yeah.
We're a reality show.
Real talk.
We're what reality television and radio should be.
Yeah.
We talk about it all to everybody. If people remember early in Trump's administration, he fired several special prosecutors from all the states.
Yeah.
A guy named Freak Ferrara was the kingpin in that. He had to get freed, so he fired 46 others.
Yep.
Special prosecutors from states. And so he did that because he had subpoenaed Deutsche Bank for their financial records.
Yeah.
Ironically, it came out today that Robert Mueller has subpoenaed the same bank, Deutsche Bank, for Donald Trump's financial records.
Yeah.
Now, Deutsche Bank is under a gag order. If you're subpoenaed by a special prosecutor, you cannot speak about it. So they cannot let the White House know that if they've been subpoenaed, Charlton, for the records.
Yep.
Now, this is the reason why he fired 46 people in one day. To protect those financial records. He can't fire Robert Mueller the same way.
Nope.
But this is the thing when they talk about following the money. You know, it's just like in professional sports when you see athletes in free agency, they're following the money. This is a scenario where people talk about corruption and collusion. This is where we get to the point of talking about financial ties. When they talked about Flynn to be compromised. This is the point where you're talking about people can be compromised if you pull bank records, Joe.
Yeah, that's something. It seems like the bank records don't lie, unlike some people. I do want to say today is a beautiful December the 5th, 2015 in the land. Actually, I want to say 2017. Big C, I was doing some alternative facts here for a while. It's 2017. I was going back in the day, Big C, but it is 2017 on the Big C Sports Show in the land of the free, in the home of the brave. And just like I said, 2015, you know, sometimes people aren't paying attention. So I know sometimes when I was taking law classes in college, they would throw facts out there, and sometimes they would throw out what they call alternative facts. And it's just like when Trump and this good old boy Billy Bush, he's actually saying, wait a minute, Trump's lying on me now. He's trying to protect his own skin and saying when he had those tapes about grabbing women by the vagina, Big C, that Billy Bush wasn't the only one there who heard that commentation. And there were also some other things. The only reason I bring it up is because sometimes what we do in the past will catch up to us in the future. And I want our country to be very strong. But a lot of shenanigans have gone on in the White House. And it seems like a lot of the good old boys that can lie about it, the bank's records don't lie, especially when you have deposits on file. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, the paper trail, the electronic trail, however you want to call that trail in a bank nowadays, Charlton, you know, what is he going to say? The money's not mine?
Yeah, he's going to say it's not. Yeah.
I don't think that'll come forth, Charlton, but I'm going to assume that he has so many names on the money that he'll try to say that it's not his. It belongs to him, whether it's a child or you know, a trust or whatever. But, you know, it will show records and how people can be had, Charlton.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, you know, it's almost like gambling.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen that over the years in sports.
Yep.
Where, you know, game fixing by players, by referees, by coaches.
Say it ain't so.
It's always going on.
Yeah.
But it was following the money trail, and that's how they were able to break them, Charlton, starting with the Boston College scandal back in the 70s where they had the point shaving in basketball games. We see it in football games, Charlton. People don't think that it's hard to see it. It's not. It's a very subtle thing when it's done. You know, people kicking field goals and not kicking field goals at the end of the game to protect point spread. You know, people taking 3-point shots late in the game, you know, to cover a point spread, you know, fouling someone to keep them from taking a shot. So these subtleties, Charlton, always exist. And so, you know, this is what you're talking about in following the trail. You know, this is a guy who has blasted a lot of sports teams and a lot of African-American athletes. And, you know, he goes after people trying to deflect every day. He's deflecting from what actually is occurring by bringing up another scenario. Charlton, and the most disheartening thing, you know, we had Representative John Conyers resign today from, you know, the House. You know, and admitted that, you know, he had improprieties along with Al Franken. But the worst part of all of this, Charlton, is that we have the president over the past 2 days endorsing an alleged pedophile. Okay? I understand that all these heinous acts against women are wrong. And they're challenged and they should be treated in a harsh way. You know, whether they're prosecuted or not. But to endorse a pedophile from the highest office of our land. Okay? Where's, you know, Ryan, you know, the Speaker of the House?
Absent.
Would he let this guy babysit his daughters?
He probably would. He probably would.
Let him babysit his daughters, or anyone in the Republican Congress. Would they let this man babysit their kids or their grandkids? Would they leave them in the room with them, Charlton, for a day?
That's a good point.
And expect for everything to be okay. So these are all the people. I understand that Alabama has a backwards mentality from time to time, Charlton. And, you know, I'm not being facetious about that.
No.
But to say that you endorse a pedophile with this sexual climate that we have, this inappropriate sexual climate that we have going on in America, where people in the sector are losing their jobs, their careers, their livelihoods, you know, every day. The president is coming out, and we're talking about adult acts, Charlton. That were not consensual. Now, how do you say that an act with a 14-year-old or 17-year-old is consensual?
It's not.
That's statutory rape, Charlton. The minute you put your hands on it, that's statutory rape. And this guy was a judge and a prosecutor. And he did this. And yet the president is coming out endorsing this. If you think that all the things that he's done and said in the past were bad, you got to look at yourself as an American and saying that I'm backing a pedophile, okay? As the president of the free world, I'm backing a pedophile.
Well, you think about it, all those women can't be lying. I do want to say this segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Big C sent you. And one more point on that, I just got to bring up, because, again, I'm so proud of all of the women who've come out and said enough. And if some people think, could you just imagine any person that's in agreement with this gentleman, Roy Moore, I won't even call him a gentleman, would you really want your daughters, whether you believe Trump and Roy or not, would you want your daughter having to go to work and perform sexual favors for some man, some pig, so she can keep her job? That's happened to too many women all over the country. It's happened to men and women. But at some point in time, Big C, we got to have some people shouted out. So I'm so proud of the women who find the moxie to stand up against all the hate and all the power, like guys like Matt Lauer, whether it's John Conyers. I think Conyers did one thing that I can say has some merit to it. He said that he thinks it should be made public that Congress, you know, the good old boys in Washington that write laws, they paid out several $1 million to hush money for the women who've come forward to say they've been assaulted. And he thinks they should do what the Heidi Fleiss did not do back in the day. They should make it known for every congressman that has been sexually assaulting women, and they got this quiet slush fund, Big C, to pay them off to keep the women quiet. Do you believe, John Conyers, that it should be made public? Big C, I do. Your thoughts?
I truly do, Charlton, because that was part of their agreement that they had, this anonymity, that if you accepted a settlement, it could not be discussed. One of the ladies came out and broke that agreement today against John Conyers, or it was yesterday, Charlton. But I think that why should politicians be able to hide behind taxpayers' money for paying off sexual misconduct and sexual assault, and saying we got to keep it quiet because I don't want to tarnish my record as an upstanding American citizen.
Elliot Spencer did that.
If you're a sexual predator, Charlton, you are a sexual predator. You should not be protected by any laws or by any means, Charlton. But to use Congress as an elected official to be a predator against women, Charlton, and even some men in these cases. Okay? That's what's wrong with society. You know, you think about how many athletes have been brought up over the decade on sexual offense charges, Charlton, and allegations. Okay? We see it all the time. Matter of fact, the running back from Oklahoma today had allegations brought against him.
Oh, really?
Order. Okay?
A new one?
The rape that occurred last month. Number 24, Mitchell, their leading rusher.
Really?
This came out today.
Wow.
And so the NCAA is aware of this. I mean, the university is aware of this.
Yeah.
Now, I want to see this athlete treated the same way that the Congress is treated, Charles. The senators are treated. Our politicians. Because we see what has happened to athletes over here. Matter of fact, Joe Mixon, we saw what happened to him for the past couple of years at the University of Oklahoma prior to going to the Cincinnati Bengals. When he got into an altercation with a woman who struck him and he struck her back. Everyone looked at that as the most heinous crime. So what I look at the most is that, you know, we're a couple months away from this incident that occurred in Vegas. It's this terrorist act by an American citizen.
Horrible.
That occurred in Vegas. It's amazing how our republic does not want to talk about that anymore. Because it was an American who committed this act of terror on American soil, where he went out and harmed 800 American citizens for just enjoying themselves. The president doesn't speak about that anymore. The Congress doesn't speak about that anymore. It's almost like the deflection. And I'm not saying that these women coming out are less, you know, has been a less egregious act against them, Charlton. But, you know, we need to bring all this into focus and not go from one leapfrog to another. You cannot forget about those people in Las Vegas, Charlton.
I agree.
You cannot forget about those people in Charlottesville, Virginia, Charlton. You cannot forget about those people in Spring, Texas, or in San Clemente, California, Charlton. You cannot. And our Congress and our president has an obligation to the American public to serve everybody of equal status when you're in office.
Well, you know, and we know we gotta bring it to the forefront. And Big C, we will. It's part of sports because it happens in sports. It happens in private citizens. But to have Congress hiding people when they put an athlete out in front on blast, Big C, we got to change that. I do want to touch.
This one comparison. You know, the president can go out and call black athletes SOBs.
SOBs.
Okay? But he didn't say that same heinous thing about the shooter in Las Vegas.
No.
He did not. Or the shooter in Spring, Texas, Charlton.
No.
Or the shooter in San Clemente, California. Or the neo-Nazi in Charlottesville, Virginia.
No.
He didn't call any of them SOBs. They were black, though, Charlton. And so you look at how the president gauges his mentality towards black athletes in America. Talking about fire. You know? But he didn't say anything negative, really, about these white men that were killing American citizens, Charlton.
That's a true point.
That's what's appalling. And none of those athletes that he called SOBs had gone out and committed a heinous crime, Charlton.
No, that's true. That's a very good point.
He attacked them, Charlton, but he would not attack these people who had gone out and killed Americans, Charlton.
That's a very good point. We got to make a change with that, Big C. I also want to bring up something that's a little bit, you know, it's close to home because we talk about the Olympics and we look at the 2018 Olympics coming up, the Seoul Winter Olympics. I look at Russia, they've been banned because of what allegations being made about, you know, blood doping in Russia. I'm shocked. Are you serious? They blood doping in Russia? I've never heard of that in my life, Big C. But also the confirmations out of the Sochi Olympics soon last winter. They won 44 medals, but these good old boys from Russia and Putin's clan, they tend to have a way of with needles and eavesdropping on people's elections. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you know, Charlton, you know, it was affirmation of what the improprieties that gone on in Sochi. You know, the doping and all these other allegations that were brought forth, you know, because they had tampered with the labs over there.
Yeah.
The Russians they had control of it. They tampered. So all the Russian officials have been banned from Seoul.
Yeah.
You know, Russian athletes can go and participate under the Olympic flag. The Russian national anthem will not be played at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Nor will their flag be flown.
Yeah.
And I think this is the right move. And I know this hurts Putin as well as it hurts Donald Trump.
Yep.
As far as these buddies looking to get together and collaborate, you know, during this time, you know, the world will be focused on something else.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll get that far in his presidency right now, though, Charlie, with Mueller, the way he's moving.
Yeah.
But, you know, you think about this. This is something that amateur athletes now get a chance to compete against amateur athletes.
Yeah.
You know, I've never liked the NBA playing, you know, in the
Olympics, yep.
Summer Olympics,
yep.
or the NHL playing in the Winter Olympics. Why don't you allow professional boxers to go in and compete against the amateurs?
Could you imagine?
It's the same thing, Charlton.
Yeah.
Okay?
Could you?
Track and field. You're going to tell me that Usain Bolt sit around for 12 years not making any money?
No.
Was doing?
No.
You know, he was a multi-millionaire when he retired, just like Carl Lewis had been.
Yeah.
When he was the American darling on the track and field, and any other great athlete over the decades, Charlton.
Yeah.
So, you know, you allow certain professionals in certain sports to go in and compete against the amateurs, where the amateurs have no chance of realizing a medal, Charlton. So, you know, this is just one of those things. They should ban any professional participation in the Olympics and any doping in the Olympics, Charlton. Just make it what it used to be.
Well,
amateuristic.
Well, sometimes my geography is not the best. I try to Google a lot of things, but sometimes if you don't have the right reception, that Google thing may not work. Is this the same Russia that said they did not hack our elections, that have been tossed out of the Olympics for saying that they were blood doping, but they said they didn't do it? So who do we believe, science or the good old boys from Russia? Which one do we believe, Big C?
Well, I guess we're going to have to wait on the president, Charlton, to make a statement on this. You know, he'll tweet about this about 5 o'clock in the morning. About, you know, how unfair the Olympic Committee is.
And how science is wrong?
How everybody is wrong and Putin wouldn't collaborate. You know, with this great country. You know, collaborate on anything like that that's illegal.
Yeah, and don't trust science. I think when I look at the Olympics from way back when I used to get up early in the morning and watch. I remember the Russians versus the U.S. hockey team, and it was the great Al Michaels that had that famous saying, "Do you believe in miracles?" Well, actually, the miracle can come in a needle if you're in Russia, Big C, because a lot of the times, if we just look back over all the times that, whether it's America or any other country that has gone up against Russia or the former Soviet Union, you know, we just have the sciences there. They've been using needles, they've been using blood doping, cleaning their blood, and whatever else it is. I'm not saying it doesn't go on in other parts of the world, because I know sometimes when you're in the bathroom and some guy's using a needle to take his urine out as opposed to using the urinal, Big C, it kind of makes you suspicious. Makes you not make any sense.
Well, Charlton, you know, you got to understand the warmth of it also. That could have been a telltale that was a little chilly. You know, when you pass to the sample, you know, went up the body temperature. You know, they've gotten so sophisticated over the decades, Charlton, for years in the Eastern European bloc. Before Reagan had them bring down the wall, Charlton, you saw a lot of female athletes who would medal in the Olympics.
Look like men.
Would never show up after they had won Olympic. That was one and done. They were gone.
Yeah.
They were off the world stage. They were swept away before doping, you know, testing had gotten real sophisticated, Charlton. And all you had was a hormone test back in those days, Charlton. They wouldn't even allow them to do those things because, you know, there was allegations of changing of someone's gender back in those days. But, you know, as we look at this, Charlton, it's all about the amateurism of athletics. Is that it's supposed to be some type of purity about that, Charlton. Even though we know that even in the amateur level here in the United States, that everybody makes millions and millions of dollars.
Oh my goodness!
The back of these kids, Charlton. As these coaches are now in this coaching carousel are moving. All about the country going to new universities, getting more and more money, Charlton. And these players are left behind wondering what does their future hold with the next regime that's coming in, because they don't know who the coach is going to be, Charlton. Or they don't even know what type of, you know, scheme that they're going to run, but they're left behind, Charlton. You know, we've looked at American society over the years, Charlton. With these fathers who have walked away from homes, okay? And left these children behind. This is the same scenario with these coaches when they walk away and they leave these fragile individuals. People say, well, they're young men, but they're still fragile. Commitment to them.
Yep.
You ask any woman who a guy has just walked out on a relationship, I don't want to be here anymore. The girl down the street look a whole lot better. I'm going to go down there and stay with her.
Yeah.
Okay? And see how that woman feels. If you want to put that in context.
Yeah.
Think about these young men who have been sitting around 1, 2, 3, 4 years with these coaches, Charlton.
Yeah.
And have made a commitment to their coach as well as the program.
Yep.
And all of a sudden the coach said, I really don't care about you guys anymore.
Yeah.
Because I got somebody who wants to treat me better.
Yeah.
I can care less what happens to you the rest of your life, the rest of your career here at the university.
Yeah.
And players have to stand by that. And no one looks at it from that perspective. They say, well, this coach is going on. How can he turn down this $2 million raise, this $3 million raise?
Yeah.
Well, the same way that player has to sit around there, Charlton, and can't get paid for his services at the university, basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is, track and field.
Yep.
He has to sit there and endure whatever comes his way. When a coach, even when there's some sanctions coming by the NCAA, he can just skedaddle on out of town and go where the grass is green. Well, excuse me,
the money's greener, Big Z.
And the players still left, and all of a sudden sanctions come. And here it is. You can't even go to a bowl game that you thought you were going to go to.
Yeah, we think about what just happened with Dabo Swinney, and going back to the playoff for the third year in a row, and having the chance to get Clemson to become that same type of marquee program that Alabama's been, that Ohio State's been back in the day, USC, Notre Dame. Clemson's stepping into that same type of territory at Big C. But I look at what happened with Jimbo Fisher. And I know he won a national championship. I don't think he played in the game, but they keep saying he won one. I'm trying to Google what one did he win? Jameis Winston won that national championship for him and them good old boys at Florida State when they beat Auburn down in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena in 2013. That's the national championship that was won. None of the players got any money, but this good old boy lands a $75 million contract over 10 years. And I'm all for people making money. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to athletes getting that money, a lot of boys complain. This kid at Georgia, this coach Kirby Smart at Georgia, he got a $150,000 bonus for playing in the SEC title game, okay? For winning the SEC title, he gets a $250,000 bonus, okay? And now if he wins the national championship, he's going to get a lot more money than that because Georgia has a very good team. And the money is almost like, what do you good old boys call it down in Las Vegas? The slot machine that just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. Well, that's what it's like for the coaches. So I want to ask you this question. I came out to the West Coast. I look at one of the great coaching jobs in the Pac-12 has been the University of Oregon. And, we talked about how Kelly had the program running great. And then he left, and Halford was there. Then they bring in Taggart. And then he stays there for 1 year after getting Oregon to, I think, a 7-4 record. And a rebuilding season, 7-5 record. Now he goes to Florida State after not even a complete year at the program. Is there? And no one can stop a coach from going. But Big C, you brought it up earlier too. Shouldn't the athletes be able to say, "Wait a minute, this guy recruited me. I want to follow him to Florida State or wherever," because we leave the kids left behind, like a parent leaving their children. What's the resolution for the children, those kids on the teams? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, what it shows is that the NCAA does not care about the athletes.
Yep.
They're mindless when it comes to the mental well-being of an athlete.
Yeah.
You think about a lot of problems that athletes have had mentally over the years, over the decades, Charlton.
Yep.
Where, people have found athletes to be unstable for various reasons.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it starts, Charlton, with this absent nest mentality.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden you've been misled, you've been lied to.
Yep.
I mean, it's a straight-up lie when it goes to, I'm going to be here for your kid for 4 years. I'm going to see him through to graduation.
Yeah.
You sit in someone's parents' house and tell them that. You think about that, taking a girl out on a date. You walk in, meet a parent, say, yeah, I'm going to take good care of your daughter. I'm going to be a total gentleman with her.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you go out and some rough stuff starts, okay?
Yep. Yeah.
Same type of thing. Here it is, you left her shattered mentally, okay? And that's what we're looking at with these athletes, when these coaches have this free reign to move. How can the NCAA continue to allow this free movement of coaches and still punish the student body?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what you talk about, student athletes. If I'm a student athlete, then I should be able to be allowed to transfer as a student. And if I want to continue my athletic career elsewhere, I should be able to do that without being punished.
Yeah.
So the NCAA keeps saying that all wrong, Charles. They talk about, well, the student athlete, So students can transfer to any university, Charlton.
Yep.
Without having to sit out a year before assuming their academics. Think about that.
Yeah.
So why can't an athlete change university and not have to sit out for a year?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's in or out of that conference, Charlton, the only way they allow that, Charlton, is that if you go from Division I football or basketball down to Division I AA or Division III, they will allow you because you've gone to a lesser conference. So they feel that you don't give a competitive edge to another school at that same level, which is totally wrong.
Yeah. You think about it.
Totally wrong.
Yeah, you think about what we just brought up, what you just said, Big C. And I'm not picking on Kirby Smart, but he's a new kid on the block because we've seen Clemson and Alabama, and Oklahoma chase down national title before. It's new for Georgia this year, okay? And look at Smart, $675,000 in bonuses because he won the SEC title game and also the upgrade of the bowl positioning in the CPF, the Final Four, and basically $900,000 in bonuses for one coach. And I think I don't think he's ever played any games or any downs for Georgia, but that's more than 40 FBS head coaches in basic compensation this season. For one coach, $900,000. That's more than 40 coaches in the FBS. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying the last time I checked the roster for the University of Georgia, most of those kids were black, Big C. And not only are they not giving the players any money, they're not going back to those players' families and giving their families any money. They're not using that bonus money to set up scholarships for the students that don't get to play, football for Georgia. They're not using any of that money to help the NAACP, the United Negro College Fund. They're not doing anything with that money other than put it in their pockets. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, other than the fact that they get free labor out of these athletes and putting almost $1 million in bonuses in his pocket, Big C. That's, I think, the egregious part. Any way to remedy that, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, there's really not. As long as somebody thinks that by buying something is going to allow you to win, they'll always keep spending the money, Charlton, and it's not going to stop. I mean, you look at the SEC alone. With the coaches that have been hired this year in the SEC. You go down to Florida where they hired Dan Mullen. You think he didn't get a big raise from Mississippi State?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they're going back to Florida where he helped with a national championship with Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
You look at, we saw what Dabo Swinney got $75 million for going to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
They didn't even flinch.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They didn't flinch giving him that money.
Yeah.
And you look across the conference. What is Tennessee going to pay their next head coach, Charlton?
Yep.
Mississippi State also has to hire a coach, Charlton. So there's a lot of schools. We saw Ed Ogeron get a new job at LSU last year. That was $4 million.
Yeah.
So the money keeps pouring out, Charlton. And where does it end? We know it doesn't end with the players getting any of it.
Yeah.
As long as the great players go out and make a coach great, that coach will keep getting compensated, Charlton.
Yeah.
In the millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And when you look at Florida, how much they're paying right now, not just to the present coach, to the coach.
Oh, yeah.
But the past coach. McElwain's still getting paid. Kevin Sumlin's still getting paid. I think he had a $14 million buyout from A&M, $18 million buyout from A&M.
Yeah.
So when you look at the totality of that contract, you're talking $95 million that A&M was on the hook for two coaches for.
Yeah.
And so this is a continuous, theme with college athletics. Jim Harbaugh got the big raise last year from Michigan.
Yep.
And it continues, as well as Dabo Swinney got the big raise.
Yeah.
But, NCAA continuously fights. The student athletes do not deserve anything. Oh, they're getting a free education.
While they're out.
When you tear up your knee, Charlton, as an athlete, how free is that education?
Yeah.
If you've had a devastating injury, they will not allow you to pursue what they gave you a scholarship for any longer.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Or you've blown out a shoulder. There's no compensation, Charlton, when an athlete has a catastrophic career-ending injury on the college level.
Yeah.
He can't pursue his lifelong dreams of being a professional athlete any longer.
No, they can't.
They didn't recruit him to be a Rhodes Scholar, even though a lot of athletes become those, Charlton.
Yeah.
They didn't recruit him to be an orthopedic, even though they do follow through in those fields, or a lawyer, and they all have all these other professional fields.
Yeah.
But they don't recruit kids from high school, Charlton, to play football and basketball, saying, okay, what is your lifetime dream? Other than playing for us. Yeah,
that's a very good point, Big C. I do want to say that sports is a $1 billion industry, and boys and girls sports is a foundation to this $1 billion industry. For every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports, whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, a high school team, or your mom and pop soccer leagues. When you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. I just want to finish up real quick with Dabo Swinney. If they win the national championship for college football, $250,000 bonus. I'm sure there's a lot more money on the line than just $250,000, Big C. If you look at, and they're in a good position to do it, they won it last year. If I look at Nick Saban, he gets an extra $310,000. He probably has that in his pocket, Big C, like that good old boy for the Houston Astros proposed to his girlfriend when they won the World Series down in L.A. Of course she said, I do. It was all love at first sight of that ring, Big C, from what I understand, for the good old boys. And so that's a lot of money for people. And then we get Oklahoma's Lincoln Riley, another $250,000 if he wins. It's almost like, where are they getting all this money, Big C? Is it coming? It's not coming from ticket sales. They don't seem to have enough to give to any of the athletes on their team. Even 10% of their salary in some type of annuity, where if they can't pay players while they're at the university. What if they invested in an annuity that would pay these guys for the rest of their lives? That's how you could pay them long term and make sure they're not being exploited. Big C, would that make more sense, even if they gave them an annuity, Big C, instead of cash? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I've always thought when athletes leave college, that they should receive the compensation equal to their scholarship.
Yeah.
As a going away present, just like coaches in these buyouts.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Sumlin got between $14 and $18 million just recently from A&M as a buyout to walk away from his contract, okay, after being fired.
Yeah.
They get fired, they don't go away broke, okay?
Yeah.
So why can't these universities, think about it now, if you're paying a coach $10 million a year, $7 million a year, if you paid every athlete the cost of his scholarship, Charlton, they graduated that year, you don't even tip into the money that coach is getting done.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's wrong with that, from a university and an NCAA perspective, is start compensating these athletes after, if you graduate, okay?
Yep.
You get a sum equal to what your scholarship was worth. That's the greatest incentive you can give to college athletes, Charlton, and so many of them graduate regardless.
Yeah.
But, compensate them for their hard work, for their tenure at the university, whether it's 4 or 5 years it takes them to get that degree. But if you recruit that young man or that young woman, when they graduate, they get a fund equal to what their scholarship was, Charlton, upon graduation.
Yeah.
To allow them to get out there in the corporate world, Charlton, and be functional.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and say, well, they got a scholarship. Look how much money the university makes off the slave mentality of athletes.
Yeah.
No other student on campus, Charlton, has to spend 2.5 to 3 hours a day at practice, minimum 4 days a week. Okay?
Yep.
They don't have to travel 2 days out of the week during their season, okay?
Nope.
Football, you got a game on Saturday, you're leaving on Friday. Depending on where it is, you're leaving on Thursday, okay?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Think about it. Think about a team, Charlton, that plays on Tuesday night after playing on Saturday.
Yeah.
NCAA does that now.
Yeah.
They did that late in the season.
Yeah.
You got a Tuesday night game after playing on Saturday. That player couldn't even get out of the ice tub, Charlton, prior to getting on a plane or a bus to go to the next game.
Yeah.
So, there needs to be some consideration for how you treat these athletes. You think about a racehorse. Let's go back to Kentucky Derby, Belmont, and Preakness.
Yeah.
They don't run those horses, Charlton, every week. Okay?
No.
There's a 3-week gap between every race. Why? That horse needs recovery time.
Yeah.
Think about that. The NCAA does not give the athletes the consideration that the Thoroughbred Organization of America gives to horses.
Wow.
A horse has to have at least 3 weeks of recuperative time after running his race versus a young college athlete. Well, hell, he can play in 2 days if he's a basketball player.
Yeah.
He can play in 2 days if he's a football player.
Yeah.
They don't need no rest. They just athletes.
Well, I think I like that point you brought up, Big C. They treat a horse better than a human being. I think about the NFL and what Colin Kaepernick started in that push for criminal justice reform. And basically, Colin Kaepernick, paraphrasing, when he started demonstrating, his whole motivation was to draw attention and awareness to the disenfranchised people, of the United States, communities of color primarily, and all the injustices around the criminal justice system. And there are actually bills to help address that. And I'm so grateful for that, Not that Colin did it on his own, but he's the main NFL player that stood up for that. And I know this is not a lot of money in the eyes of an NFL team, but that $100 million that they're giving out to help solve some of the social justice reforms and to fund some of the programs that will help, kids of color. I think if they were to have that same mentality for the college athletes, because not many people can play pro sports. It's less than 1% of all the participants in football that can play pro sports, whether you're at college or high school. But annuities kind of levels the playing field. That's when you start giving people future money. That's what life insurance does. That's what an annuity does. It pays people when they can't work anymore. And I bet you, Big C, every college, every university, they have an endowment fund, an annuity that's going to fund that athletic department long after that athlete is gone. Are we going to get to the point where we can have that kind of conversation given to the college athletes the way Colin Kaepernick has brought that attention to the professional football players? Big C, your thoughts?
Charlton, as long as it's free and until there's a class action suit, let's put it clearly, until all the athletes walk out on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When all the college football players walk out on a Saturday, we're not going to take this anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? We want to be compensated. And you see that financial hit, not just at the university, Charlton.
Yep.
But on the network.
Yep.
Okay? It's not like when the NFL went out on strike and you went out and got these so-called scab players, these players that didn't make the rosters, you call them scabs.
Yeah.
They were still people, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's how denigrating you look at athletes. People have taken the opportunity to denigrate athletes at every turn.
Yeah, especially.
Call the guy a scab because he wanted to work and pay, and play in a profession that he's always fantasized about and feed his family.
Yeah,
call him a scab.
Yep. Yeah, that's true, Big C. I want to bring to your attention real quick before we touch on something else. I remember, and I won't say the name of the firm, but I work with a lot of financial advisors, and there's several of them that will run commercials that say, Daddy got a raise. They'll show an image of a man, and he's holding his young child, and he's giving her this really soft love, this loving feeling that you have when you know you can provide for your family, when you can afford food, clothing, and shelter. And I'll never forget, it was Daddy got a raise. Daddy got a raise meant he can take better care of his family. And the NCAA is so insensitive to the plight of many of these young African-American kids. They will boast about the contract that they get for the coach. What's that good old boy, $75 million for Jimbo Fisher. He got a raise. He could tell his players, hey, guys, I just got a raise. When you look at any one of these coaches that get big money, I remember that commercial, that financial services commercial, Daddy got a raise. These coaches are going back and telling their players, I just got $50 million. I just got $75 million. See ya. Bye. Wouldn't want to be ya. And I think that's so insensitive that not only do they get the money on this free labor from black athletes, for the most part, 80%, they announce it all over the news and the media, and they throw a little celebration party for the guy that got $75 million, and they get nothing to the families they took that kid from, nothing to the parents, no annuity, no life insurance, no nothing. They just get used up and spit out. Big C, I think we have to change that, and I think that Big C Sports is going to be a big part of that. I want to get your thought on that before we touch on one more thing, Big C, your thoughts.
Well, Charlton, I've always been a proponent of the athletes getting something. Everybody's not going to get it under the table. Put it above the table, Charlton. Yeah. There's no disgrace in it.
Yep.
And people say, well, how do you do it? Depending on the size of the school and things like that. No, Charlton, the NCAA is one governing body, okay?
Yep.
All that money that flows through the NCAA, they just happen to funnel it through the larger schools.
Yep.
That's what they do.
Yep.
For that television contract that the NCAA has every year, Charlton, embodies all of the universities that play college football.
Yeah.
They don't all get to be on television, but it embodies all of them. When the NCAA stops being one governing body, it's like the U.S. government stops being one governing body. They regulate all of college athletics, Charlton. That slush fund that they have regulates all of college athletics. So to say that you don't know how that the money would be paired out, Charlton, it's paired out the same way. You tell me that the head of the NCAA, why does he need to make $3 million a year?
Inflation.
Inflation. What is he doing other than flying around the country, getting into games for free?
Okay?
Getting top meals.
Yep.
But here it is, he's making $3 million a year.
Yeah.
Doing what? Putting stipulations on kids that they can't have.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing, Charlton.
Yeah.
It's like sitting up here with this bowl committee.
Yep.
Well, when you look at the three outside teams that were looking in, there's two of them outside looking in and one got in.
Yeah.
Alabama got in, okay?
Yep.
Ohio State's on the outside looking in. They're at number 5.
Yeah.
At number 6, you look and see who's at number 6, okay?
Yep.
Wisconsin.
Yep.
Well, not Wisconsin, but USC.
USC, yeah.
You look at that, Charlton, and look at the strength of schedule, Charlton, between those teams, all right?
Yeah.
When you look at the strength of schedule between those teams, Alabama has the least strength of schedule. USC strength of schedule was twice of what Alabama's was, Charlton.
Yeah, they're playing everyone in the conference, yeah. Yep.
They played everybody in the conference that was ranked, plus some non-conference teams that were strong.
Yep.
Alabama got in because of what we talked about here. Even Ohio State's strength of schedule was greater than Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a great program, but it's a program that lives on its laurels right now.
Yeah.
Because there are teams out there that are better than Alabama.
Yeah.
But they could not get in because they don't have that quote-unquote marquee name.
Yep.
And they don't have a coach that makes $10 million a year.
Yeah, that's true, Big C.
You got to look at the fairness to the athlete. It's like in the Heisman Trophy voting. Who's the best athlete in the country? Who's the best player in the country? Who's the most valuable player to his team in the country?
Yeah.
The Oklahoma proved in their first series, in the second to the last game of the season prior to that playoff game, that they can win without Baker Mayfield.
Oh, yeah.
It took them 2 plays to go 79 yards.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And then they brought him back in a hurry.
They had to bring him back in the game and say, hey, we were feeling it. We got to let the national media know. We can win without this guy.
It reminds me of the girl, you hear girlfriends talk about how she was really good to a man and he didn't appreciate it because she needed more attention, Big C. And so he said, well, go ahead, I'll be fine without you. And then she finds a guy like Tiger Woods, right? So then he gets on an airplane instead of a Bentley. And, I just think that's funny how sometimes you climb the social ladder based on who you know, but sometimes life is better when you go forward. And speaking of going forward, I want to think that this NFL issue, we talked really big about the CTE and the concussions that go on in the league and how there's concussion settlements for college football players, and there's so many law firms that can get in on that cash cow. I want to get your thoughts on last night's football game, because if we go back in the day 20, 30 years ago, people would say, what a great game. But we now, because we are educated, Big C, some of the headhunting that went on last night with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, not only is it frowned upon, players are being suspended. Give me your thoughts on some of the hits that happened, and I hope the gentleman from Pittsburgh's okay. I hear he's doing much better now, Big C. Your thoughts?
So, Charlton, I was having a flashback to 1977. I'm going to be honest. It took me back 40 years.
Yeah.
Because that's how we played the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it was played 40 years ago, Charlton.
Yeah.
I mean, it was played with viciousness all down the field. Defensive backs could beat up a wide receiver for 20, 30 yards down the field.
Yeah.
There was no flags thrown.
No.
Linebackers took out receivers coming across the middle with gusto.
Jack Tatum.
It was no big deal.
Yeah.
Safeties would render you unconscious.
Yeah.
But, when we're looking at taking the violence out of football,
yeah,
I don't know how you police this game.
No.
Especially when it's during a football play.
Yeah.
Now, I look at the play that Ryan Shazier, the linebacker from Pittsburgh, was injured on and suffered the lower body injury.
Yeah.
He didn't have movement or feeling in his legs. And fortunately enough, hopefully, he's able to be able to get that back. I think his football career may be in question after last night, Charlton, because life means a little more than that.
Yeah.
Than worrying about going out there and leaving yourself in a chair. If you can avoid that scenario, Charlton, it's the love of his life. But the love of life is living, Charlton, and being healthy.
Yeah.
This is a very violent game, and you can't police the game the way that people say you got to change it. It's also because you're paying people to be violent.
Yep.
It's like telling a boxer he can't punch someone in the head, okay?
Yeah.
It's the same strategy.
Yeah.
You're paid to punish people. And I don't know how you tell football players not to punish their opponent.
Mike Tyson made a living off of it.
We see the hits that happen in the open field, Charlton. We saw the hit last night by Juju Schuster on Vontaze Burfict, and I was shocked that they threw a flag against somebody who hit Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah.
And I questioned Burfict whether he was knocked out because he tried to
fight back.
Yeah. So I think he thought about, I've been hit. Let me lay down here and get this guy kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
I question the commissioner now. I really question him because what these two players did for Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, they did in the course of a play, okay?
Yeah.
What Rob Gronkowski did for New England on Sunday was
that was dirty.
Delicious act.
Yeah.
This player was down. He was out of bounds. He got up ran 5 yards and drilled this player on the ground. But in the officials in the league's mind, it was only worth a 1-game suspension.
Yep.
Now, Rob Gronkowski's been one of the faces of the NFL. Big white guy. There's been a lot of off-field antics and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They say, well, it's not of his character. What is the character of a violent man, Charlton?
Wow.
A football player.
Yeah.
The character of a violent man is a football player, period.
Yeah.
But what's the character of a malicious act?
Yeah.
Someone who calculated and did what Ron Gronkowski did. On the street, he would go to jail for that. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was not in the course of the play.
It was not a football play.
It was a malicious, thought-about act, what he did. It was an intentional intent.
Yeah.
And they gave him a pass on it.
1 game.
Yeah, these players who made a hit during the course of a play.
Yeah.
Okay? They didn't get a pass. They were black, though. And so I even look at the commissioner of how he polices and how he treats players.
Yeah.
Is that there's a double standard.
Yeah.
You know, there is a true double standard. We saw what happened with Ezekiel Elliott. People said, well, he got Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady got 4 games. Ezekiel Elliott got 6.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there's a little more. You look at what he did to Ray Rice. He suspended him for the year. Okay? Josh Brown kept kicking.
Yeah.
All right? Kept kicking in New York. And here's the Mara family on TV like they want to cry about Eli.
Isn't that a joke? Isn't that a big joke?
There's nothing sympathetic about Josh Brown's ex-wife getting beat up 20 times.
No. They hid the guy. Yep, you're right.
They hid the guy on the payroll and gave him a pay raise. We'll give you another $1.5 million. We'll just keep it quiet.
For beating up a woman. Yeah. That's the Mara family that people hide in.
That's the Mara family that sit there and talk about, they handled the Eli scenario wrong. No, you handled the Josh Brown scenario wrong.
And I wonder, Big C, if Mara would have had the same reaction had Josh Brown been beating up Mrs. Mara, or one of his grandkids, or somebody he cares about, because every woman has someone who cares about him. And I mean, just like all the stuff going on in Congress right now with POTUS trying to get a guy who's molested 14-year-old girls, trying to get him in the office. You have Congress paying out multi-million dollars to have hush-hush money for girls to go away, the interns or women who are trying to get their start in Washington, and Congress paying off these women. They should all be making full disclosure, the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. They need to live by that same dialogue, Big C. Yeah. Yeah.
How much did Roger Goodell say about Josh Brown? Think about it.
Nothing, really.
How much did Roger Goodell say about Josh Brown? And they knew, the Maras knew and Goodell knew, because they all lived in New York. Okay?
Yeah. Wow.
If they knew, he knew what was going on.
Wow.
This scenario, that he was beating this woman up and everybody was okay with it.
Yeah.
From the commissioner to the mayors. That's what was occurring. But, we saw this Ezekiel Elliott scenario play out. Josh Brown was quiet until you and I broke the scenario.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
You and I brought it out. The next thing you know, the other sports broadcast television networks were talking about it.
Well, Big C, I didn't know about it until you told me that you knew people that knew he was being hit and that they were hiding the woman when they went to the Pro Bowl. I didn't know that. So some of the people that you know, they knew. So if they knew, the commissioner knew. If not, they need to hire Big C to find out what's going on in the world of sports so they can all find out the truth. Big C, your thoughts.
Well, Charlton, the thing about it is that you want to protect certain individuals. And that comes from the league's office. You're protecting certain individuals. That you let egregious acts where you turn your eye on them and then you try to cover up. What the commissioner did was almost like what Trump did. Let's deflect from the real problem over here, where we got a guy committing a heinous act, and let's throw the book at some guys who committed an act during a play.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But they didn't take the time out to say, okay, I'm going to run down the field and hit this guy who was laying on the ground.
Yeah.
That's what I find disturbing.
Yeah.
Is that you can hit a guy laying on the ground defenseless, out of bounds.
Yeah.
Now, we see flags thrown all the time when you hit a player that's still running out of bounds.
Yep.
But here's a guy who's laying down on the ground, talking about, when you talk about vulnerable, helmet to helmet, full arm to helmet, and everything else that was egregious about that act from Gronkowski. I guarantee you, Charlton, it's been Vontae's birthday. It would have been a 4-game suspension minimum. And don't give me about his history, okay?
Yeah.
Because the history of the NFL is about violence.
Yeah.
There's not a guy playing the game out there that's not violent. I've seen quarterbacks go after people, okay?
Yeah.
They do that.
Yeah.
Running backs and receivers go after people all the time.
Yeah.
But it's paid to be violent. And so don't tell me that what he did was beyond the scope, was not beyond the scope of the game, Charlton, as far as the conduct rules within the confines of the arena.
Yeah.
Rob Gronkowski should have got a minimum of 4 games.
Yeah.
You gave him a slap on the hand, because he said, well, he's missed so much time during his career. Well, who hasn't?
Yeah.
Tell me, who hasn't had a knee injury, who hasn't missed time in their career?
Yeah.
It happens. It's the game. But it's a violent game, and you're saying, okay, we're going to start firing people, and we're going to suspend people for playing the game.
I think they got to start doing that.
It's being played on eggshells now, Charlie.
Yeah.
You might as well make this the Puff League.
I think they're going to start doing that, Big C. Speaking of the Puff Up League, for anybody who wants to advertise on the #1 network in the United States of America, call 800-772-8624. That is 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. Big C, I want to close out on one of the most controversial topics in the history of the universe, and that's betting. As far as I know, Las Vegas and New Jersey and a lot of people, Atlantic City, New Jersey, they have Las Vegas, Nevada. They have so many people around the country where they have this thing called the sports book. And even some of the stations will have, remember that good old boy back in the day, Jimmy the Greek Snyder, when they were trying to tell people who to bet on because they had some inside information to who was hurt, who was going to take a play, or who's going to fake hurt, or whatever. The officials, whatever they knew. And CBS Sports gave it so much credibility. They had that good old boy, Jimmy the Greek Snyder, who learned from his father, or maybe he taught his father. Either way, gambling is big. It's such big money that all of the states are trying to become like Las Vegas. Big C, do you see that happening anytime soon over the next 2 seasons? Big C, your thoughts?
Charlton is inevitable. When you think about gaming in America, it's in 46 states, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of it is tribal run, but the tribals just have a name on them because venture capitalists have set up these casinos all across America, okay? Because these tribes are poor.
Yeah.
They didn't have the money, but all of a sudden the venture capitalists came in, funded the casinos, and they're making money off the tribal name.
Yeah.
So gambling is just something that's going to spread out, Charlton. When we think about illegal betting that occurs in America, matter of fact, it's going on right now. As soon as this show is over, I got to go get involved. When you think about that, this regulation will be brought by Nevada.
Wait, hold on, Big C. I think sometimes my ears don't listen as fast as my mouth speak. What'd you say you got to do, Big C?
I got to go down and check on something.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't always think before I talk about
Okay. You was smoking the band, I understand, Big C. You and them good old boys, Jackie Gleason.
But, this is something that you can't regulate, Charlton.
Yeah.
When you think about states have been able to regulate gaming for years,
for
decades now with the Indian casinos. And so why not open up the sports books? You think about, you got all this online and offshore betting that has always gone on in America. And, Americans always haven't been able to get their money back from some of these offshore betting. All of a sudden they can go defunct or whatever, and you've lost thousands of dollars because you've won too much. And so to have this stuff regulated by the gaming authorities of each state, Charlton, I think is an acceptable thing. When we look at the expansion of everything in America, it's like the legality of marijuana that's starting to spread throughout America. Knowing that this cannabis has helped so many people across this great country, Charlton, and you can't let it be regulated by the tobacco industry any longer, Charlton, or the pharmaceutical industry. Because you think about, what does the pharmaceuticals do? Ask Rush Limbaugh and Jim Irsay. What they do.
Help them relax.
When you've destroyed your liver, Charlton, you've destroyed your kidneys from using these pharmaceuticals, Charlton. And they said, well, it really doesn't hurt. Well, I haven't seen anything where they talked about, someone destroying their liver and kidneys off of cannabis, Charlton. That just hasn't been a proven medical fact. So as much as they want to talk about that, Charlton, let's look at the reality of that.
And you think about it too, with the inside information that people have, you can go down and bet on a horse. Okay, you can go to any horse racing and you can bet on the horses in California, but you can't bet on if the Lakers are going to beat the Clippers by whatever point, or if the Warriors will beat, the Mavericks or the Rockets, or will the Kings beat the Nuggets, etc. But that's coming, and that's coming to the point where almost every day I get a text from some good old boys. I don't know how they got my number, because I don't bet. I only got a few things that I do, Big C. But that good old boy lets me know who I should bet on. And I would say this guy's right about 80% of the time. I have no idea how he knows so much and he don't play the game, but I think it's a slippery slope to let everything go. But I know it's going to happen because there's so much money in it. Whether they make it happen or not, it's always a lot of money in it. Big C, one more thing I want to ask you on, and this is part of the reason why it may or may not happen. Could you imagine how much more influence they're going to have on an athlete if that athlete knows that he can put a wager on his own game in his own stadium in his own city? Does that make any sense, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, that's what's always been a concern. You know, when they talked about not allowing professional teams in Las Vegas, well, we've seen that has changed. Charlton.
Yep.
That slippery slope has gone by the wayside with professional hockey, and
yep.
with the Raiders going to be there allegedly in a couple of years.
Charlton.
Yep. There were years that you couldn't bet on gambling on college sports in Nevada with the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and I believe also with the University of Nevada, Reno.
Yeah.
Those two teams you could not bet on in the sports book. I think that has changed, Charlton, over time.
Yeah.
So if you're going to allow them to bet on local sports now, why can't you just let them bet around the country? And so by bringing these professional teams into Las Vegas, that has changed the whole landscape. You can no longer regulate it across the country, saying that you cannot bet. When you ask for too much, and that's what Vegas asked for, a professional hockey team, a professional basketball team, they're also going to get a WNBA team from San Antonio.
Wow.
They're going to move to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So now that you have this gamut of professional teams in Vegas, what's going to be able to control or regulate these players, Charlton, now when it comes to betting?
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have people with insight, personal insight. Before it was just an injury report in football.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have a personal conversation at the bar with blackjack people that you can talk about what's going on.
I think it's something that's going to happen because money talks. Big C, when Floyd Money Mayweather and Conor McGregor can stage a fight in Las Vegas, and I think Floyd made about $600 million or whatever he made millions, and McGregor made more money than he ever made in his lifetime. In like 1 hour of being beaten up, a lot of guys would take that fight. Back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, Charlton, what I'm looking forward this week coming up in the NFL, it's going to be a tried and true time this week coming up. We're going to see the NFC South with a lot of challenges for making the playoffs as well as winning that division title. But the true test that I'm looking for this weekend, Charlton, are last year's number 1 and number 2 overall draft picks getting together out in Los Angeles. The Eagles are going to stay out on the West Coast all week long instead of going back home, coming back. You know, Carson Wentz. You know, everyone was talking about he was a slam dunk for the MVP. You know, a month ago. Right now, that's being challenged. Last week, he was set back by Russell Wilson. Now, Jeff Goff. When you talk about a player who meant the most to his team, Charlton, this year, you think about even us and everybody else wrote him off last year as a bust. But you look at where he's gotten the Rams to this year, Charlton, being 9-3. You know, and he's leading the NFL in passing yardage. This will be a true challenge for Carson Wentz.
Well, I tell you what, Big C, and we will find out what that challenge is. In fact, I will bet on it, and you can speak of the bet, and you can bet every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide by following Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network. We're on the #1 network in the United States of America, and Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say there's never, ever any reason for domestic violence or sexual assault. If you know any woman going through that garbage, please call 911 because no woman should have to deal with that garbage on her own. And as we tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.